this video. This is video number 4 of the factoring tutorial series, and this example is very similar to what we did in video number 3. In video number 3 we had 3 terms and we had to factor out a GCF, and then we would go back and check our work using the distributive property. However, for video 4, 3 terms again, but sometimes you will have more than one variable in each term. In this term here we have x's and y's, and notice we have the same thing in this term here and this term here. But keeping the same concepts in mind that we've discussed in videos 1, 2, and 3, if we look at these 3 terms here, let's focus on the numbers. And if you look at 6, -36, and 60, the biggest number that will go into all of these numbers, well, let's think about that. 6 goes into itself, 6 will go into 36 or -36, and 6 will also go into 60. It turns out the greatest common factor, the number, is going to be 6. So let's pull that 6 out. And now let's focus on the x's in each term, because we do have x's in all 3 of these terms. And if we look, we have 2 of them, x squared, we have 1 here, and then we have 2 here. Now, the most they have in common is going to be 1. We don't have 2 x's to pull out in this term here. Therefore, we can only factor out a single x. So putting that x right there. And then let's look at all 3 of these terms one more time. Notice they all have y's in it. We have 3 of them. We have 2 of them. We have 1 of them. The most that they have in common is again going to be a single y. We can't pull out 2 y's or 3 y's from this term because all we have is 1. Therefore, that last variable here is going to be a y. 6xy is going to be our greatest common factor of this expression. Now, if we reverse the distributive property, we want to ask ourselves, 6 times what will give us that 6? Well, that's a 1. You don't have to put that down, but I'm going to write it there anyway. We have an x, and we have to multiply by something to get x squared. Well, x times another x will give us that x squared. And for this y here, y times what will give us y cubed. Y times y squared will give us that y cubed. So this is our first term that we have left over. If we distribute these 2 pieces together, 6 times 1 is 6, x times x is x squared, y times y squared is y cubed. Moving on to this second term here, 6 times what gives us -36? Well, that's going to be a -6. X times what gives us an x? Well, we don't have to multiply by any more x's because we already have this x that's going to get distributed when we check our work. So we don't need any more x's. However, this y times another y will give us this y squared here for this second term. So checking that again real quick, 6 times -6 is -36. X times no more x's is just a single x, and y times y is y squared. Finally, this last term, if we take 6 times a +10, we get +60. X times another x will give us x squared, and then y times, we don't need any more y's here because y times no more y's gives us that single y there. Therefore, this is our final answer. And we could make one adjustment to this. We could actually erase this 1. That's an understood 1 right there. And that answer is totally fine as well. And there you have it, video number 4. Very similar to video number 3, but I wanted to throw it out there because sometimes you will have more than one variable. In this case, we had 2. You could have 3 or 4 or how many ever it may be. So I did want to make a separate video for this. And that's it for this video. I hope it helped.